Thanks everyone for joining today. I'm Tim Wadley with P2 Energy Solutions, and the session we're going to go over today is how we, P2, a leading ERP in oil and gas, have leveraged modern process orchestration. Brandy?
I am Brandy Greek, a product manager here at P2 Energy Solutions, and we are happy to be with you today. So Tim, could you tell us a little bit about P2?
So P2 Energy Solutions is a software company focused exclusively on upstream oil and gas. We've grown through acquisitions, so we have lots of different solutions that we bring to market from managing land through production and accounting. All of our applications are really strong in their markets and have a long and storied history. Many of our solutions are standalone and really weren't built to integrate with each other. So we have, many different solutions. They provide different capabilities to the market. And then what P2 has done is brought those together to provide a more holistic view of the upstream oil and gas company. We have about 1,600 companies in our vertical. It's a fairly narrow vertical market. And one of our main domains is around oil and gas accounting. It is unique in that there's just a lot of complexities associated with upstream oil and gas, managing the ownership of the wells and then managing the revenue and the cost distribution to the owners in those wells.
All right, that sounds pretty neat. Could you give us a little background as to what P2's objective was getting in business with ProcessMaker?
I think, just like any other company, P2 is always looking for how can we provide more value to our customers and provide more capability to our clients, as well as obviously new revenue streams and being able to compete against new technologies or new competitors that have entered the market on newer technologies. And so, continue to sell more and keep our clients happy and provide more value to our clients. That's our objective.
All right. And how do you envision ProcessMaker being able to provide that added value?
Well, so, since many of our applications were developed a long time ago, they didn't have the ability to tie in between the applications and or provide some of the capabilities that are more standard today, like the ability to automate business processes, to track where you're at in the business process, to have audit of the approval processes. And so, for example, in upstream oil and gas, when you have a revenue distribution, once that's calculated, then you have to get that approved by the supervisor or by your others in the company before you can make that distribution. And there's really no way in existing applications to be able to add that capability without writing a lot of code to be able to add that capability. So that the cost is, of building that out is 3 or 4 times more than it would be by tying in a third-party solution. And so that we really didn't want to make a big investment, and we wanted to be able to add the capabilities quickly. And P2 isn't an expert in workflows. We wanted to be able to focus on upstream oil and gas. That's where our expertise is. So it just made sense that we would look for a third-party solution.
Okay. And once P2 decided that they needed a BPM solution, what did your selection process look like?
So we went through a fairly formal selection process where we put together a spreadsheet of criteria, looked at what was available in the market. In that spreadsheet, we had about 98 items of criteria that we looked at: ability to branch, the asynchronous activities, being able to support multi-tenant, being able to manage task monitoring, the audits that I talked about before. Integration with our existing application was a must. We were really looking for something that had was an API based application that then we could tie in, and we could also reskin that application so that it was embedded with our applications and had a more seamless look and feel and use for our end clients. Obviously, security was a big deal. Being able to ensure that the logins and the process is secure and ties in with P2 security as well for our applications. Scalability. I mean, we have 1,600 clients. Our plan is to have a single instance, a multi-tenant instance. So I think that was a big issue or things that we were looking at. And finally, the commercial terms needed to make sense, right? We didn't want to invest significantly in developing this tool, and we wanted to extend our capabilities, so it had to fit with our pricing model and with our clients, which a lot of our clients are very small. They might be, our average number of users at a client is about 5, and so it couldn't be hundreds of thousands of dollars to layer this tool on. It had to be cost effective. So we ended up comparing about 7 or 8 products. They were really came down to 2, and finally, ultimately, we made the decision with ProcessMaker, and we are extremely happy with that decision, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes. But that was the process we went through, and it was. I mean, we probably took, it was 2 or 3 months in that selection process when we went through that.
Right. Are you able to provide a few real world examples of where you have already added the value using ProcessMaker?
Yeah, there's lots of opportunities within upstream oil and gas, and some of our clients have done, more custom type workflows that are specific to what they were looking for. And then we have also provided some out of the box solutions. So as an example, being able to have manual journal entry. So when you update or enter a journal entry in accounting, you have to have the backup material associated with that. It has to go through an approval process. Usually there's a spreadsheet, and maybe there's invoices and other documents associated with that. So there's lots of stuff that clients most of the time are emailing or using the sneaker net to walk that information around, getting those signatures, and then making the journal entry. And then 6 months later, you have an audit of that journal entry, and where is that backup material? If it could be in a folder or someplace else. And so what we were able to do is have a really streamlined, very small workflow, but it's been very powerful of just being able to capture all the information associated with the manual journal entry. That's in the P2 application. Then it kicks off a process to route that for approval and associate all the documentation with that workflow. Once the approvals are completed, and there can be one or many approvals, then it updates that manual journal entry is posted automatically then to the application. And so not only do they have a automated process, but it captures all that information, makes auditing much easier on the back end. And so, clients, indicate that this saves 15, 20 minutes per journal entry, which doesn't sound like a lot. But if you're doing thousands of journal entries, depending on the size of your company, that can be a significant savings. And it increases the other, for smaller clients who may not have so many journal entries, but it really improves their audit and their ability to track the process. And a part of choosing an off-the-shelf solution, a leader in the market, is that we were able to get capabilities like mobility, so on mobile applications, so that the approvals can be on a phone or it can be on a tablet, and that wasn't something that P2 had to write. That's just inherent within the application. Let me give you another one: is transfers, material transfers. So in oil and gas, It's very remote. There'll be warehouses with tubing and other materials, pumps and valves, etc. All of that information, when it gets sent to a specific well, being able to track the movement of that inventory to that well is critical. And oftentimes there's different ownership. So the operating company may owns the warehouse and the material in the warehouse. And at the well level, you have different ownership at that well. So you have to actually, it's actually an accounting transaction to move that to that well, because you're charging those owners for that material. So it's a very complex process in upstream oil and gas. And what clients have were doing in the past is capturing that information on paper in the field, entering it into a spreadsheet that would get sent to accounting. Accounting then would enter it into the accounting system, and there was often errors. People would put down the wrong number of the equipment and have the wrong inventory. So you couldn't, with our workflow, there's no way that you can make a mistake. You can't move a piece of pipe that doesn't exist in the inventory in the accounting system. So by tying that back to the accounting system, now they can, they enter that transfer in one place, right in through a workflow that pulls data from the accounting system, the inventory. It has the locations of where it's delivered to. It knows the ownership of that location. And then once that's routed for approval again, and once it's posted to accounting, then there's no manual effort. And that has reduced the time significantly. One company was running typically 2 or 3 months behind on their material transfers, and they were able to have that updated. So now everything's current, everything's current as of today. The only delay is the approvals on the transfers before it gets integrated into accounting. So I mentioned a little bit about, some of our clients have also built their own. There's several different things that we've done with clients. One was a request for quote. So as they're buying material to go into their inventory, sending out the emails to the vendors requesting the quote, and then also tracking that vendor communication until there is an actual purchase. And then that can also feed into what is called a three-way match in accounting, where you have an invoice that comes in from a partner, and you can track that to what was delivered in the field and what was approved for that purchase from the request to quote. And so instead of having that AP being held up and not being paid, you can pay it automatically because it already matches. And so that's a good match for that payment. And oftentimes you can take advantage of discounts. Like, so if you pay your invoice within 20 days, you get a 3% discount. Most systems processes don't allow you to take advantage of that because they're so manual. You can't get the approval of that invoice in time. But by using workflow and automated processes, such as I was just talking about, you're able to then automatically approve that invoice, and you can pay it and take advantage of those payments or those discounts. So those are a few, Brandy, examples.
Thank you, Tim. Those were fantastic. So now we've kind of seen the journey. Let's talk a little bit about the outcomes.
Well,
what has P2 experienced?
I guess this is a little bit of the journey too, but one thing, probably our biggest challenge at P2 has been that with our applications, we have unique databases, Unidata and multi-value set databases and other types of databases that don't have easy connection. So building out Rust services, so that we can connect to those from workflow has probably been one of our biggest limiting factors, I guess, or challenges that we've had. But we've been working on that and slowly building out those services. And some of our applications are on Oracle database and standard relational data models, so that for those we can use direct database connections. But it really has helped us in being able to integrate our applications and be able to show clients that we're continuing to invest in our applications and provide automation, which, if you guys are familiar with upstream oil and gas with low oil prices that are there today, this is something that every company is looking at. How can I reduce my cost and be able to accomplish all my work? And automation, workflow tools are a way to do that. And it has to be tied in with the application. So what we've been able to do is we have expertise in upstream oil and gas. We take the workflow process from ProcessMaker and then best in class solution, and we can marry those two up and provide very specific workflows for upstream oil and gas that is integrated with P2's applications. And so they get a very distinct, quick value from being able to have those applications. That has really helped us, be able to remain competitive, adding new capabilities, more value to our clients, and it's really had a very, very positive response from our client base. Focusing on providing them more capabilities and more automation. So at this point, all implementations that we've done are currently happy and referenceable. So that just goes to the fact that it is providing value, and the clients see the value in those workflows.
Great. That's great to hear. So we've talked a lot about the product itself. How about P2's relationship with ProcessMaker? How has that been going?
I alluded to this earlier. ProcessMaker has been such a great partner. I can't tell you how I've worked with a lot of different partners, from Oracle to Microsoft to smaller vendors, and ProcessMaker is the best company, hands down, that I've worked with. They've helped with sales, they've helped with demos, they've helped us put together examples of workflows, and participated, like I said, in demos with clients, on our behalf, and really have been, done everything that they can do to help us get to market quicker and, make our clients happy. And, very quick response on any support issues that we have had or our clients have had, and, have provided marketing support. So, I really just can't say enough about what a great relationship it's been, and how it's benefited us by having this, I'll say it again, a pre-canned, best-in-class workflow engine that then we can leverage and put our oil and gas spin around those workflows. So it's been very successful.
Fantastic. Well, I really enjoyed hearing about the start of the journey and can't wait to see where we go from here. We appreciate you guys joining this session, and we do hope that you enjoy the rest of the event.